All right, and then chapter 6 goes on to talk about this kind of exercise technique of sorts that you can use to get a sense of the illusory nature of this world. And so we'll start off with this. Eastern models of mind can be reduced to three levels: the psyche, the substrate, and the clear light mind. Perceiving a reified world, or seeing things as concrete or lasting, or seeing things as separate, right, as we tend to do. Perceiving a reified world comes from looking at things from the superficial dimension of your being, the psyche. Seeing an illusory world comes from your deepest dimensions, the clear light mind. And then I'll talk about, two different ways of seeing things, right? So this is the kind of exercise or technique where you can look at things from the front of your eyes or from the back of your eyes. And he kind of describes it as, if you're looking at an object, right, and you're really locked in on it, right, and really holding it in focus, it's very separate, right? And that's very self and other. It's you here, that object over there that you're staring at. However, when you're looking at things from a more objective point of view, over a more lucid point of view, you're kind of like leaning back. And a good way of kind of describing that is, of course, with dreams. So when we're locked in into a regular, normal dream, not lucid, right? We're really enraptured with what's going on, locked into it and not lucidly aware. However, once you are lucid, it kind of gives you some separation. It gives you some space between what's going on in the illusion. You can still, of course, participate in the illusion and all of that, but it gives you this kind of more pulled back perspective where you can have more freedom and more separation. And then he has this in here. The back of the skull is where the occipital cortex lies, the part of your brain that processes visual information. It's almost as if by retreating back to that area where bypassing our usual visual processing, which ends up processing reality into self and other. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's probably why he uses this, looking at things from the front of your eye or the back of your eye thing. Because to me, I guess it kind of makes sense and works, but I always thought about it a little bit differently. I always thought about it as seeing things like a soft gaze, or like a really wide angle vision where you're kind of watching the peripherals more than what's in the center. Sam Harris has a nice way of talking about this as well, where he has these several different open eye type meditations that you can do. Is while you're looking at something, instead of looking at that object in particular, you're looking at almost the space in front of it. You're looking at the air in front of the object. I think that's another kind of nice way to get at it. Then he also talks about how in traditional retreats, right, where practitioners retreat to get away from distractions and then to withdraw into a deeper aspects of themselves, is how you can, do this technique on the spot to, retreat to this deeper aspect of the self, of yourself, like in the moment. And so, kind of funny thing is, this is something that I've been doing for a long time when I'm stuck watching scary movies and shit, because I'm not a scary movie guy, although some of them I really love, like, for example, Event Horizon. I don't know if you remember that old ass movie. That's like one of my favorites. But sometimes I'll be like watching scary movies with my wife or whatever. you know, I don't want to be that guy who got to like close my eyes or turn away and not look. So I got to like keep my eyes on the screen and pretend like I'm watching this. But what I'll do is I'll get this really like soft, diffuse gaze. So I'm not really, seeing, it's all blurred out essentially. And so I'll sit there and kind of, so if she ever looks at me, I'm still staring at the screen, but hopefully when the monster jumps out, I don't, got to flinch, and then she got to feel that and then tease me later. But anyway, I'll give it a try.